We are going to call this episode, Nick Goes to a Therapist for the First Time. And for those who've listened to the show, you've probably heard me spout 1 million different terms that sound like I know what I'm talking about in psychology and therapy. I don't, and now I brought an expert who does. So I have with me Mr. Dave Glick. Dave, how you doing, bud?
Good. Glad to be here.
So Dave is with Triad Psych, but he's got a pretty extensive resume. So before I do what I usually do, which is one of my psychological flaws, and talk over everybody and try to dominate situations, I'm going to let Dave talk and set up his background because it will play nicely into our conversation about the workforce in the next segment. So Dave, why don't you go back as far back as you think relevant and just give us some of this background and how you got into this field and the diversity of what you've seen in the field.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me. How did I get where I am? I pretty much came of age in the 80s and, had it drilled in my head that you go to, and I grew up in New Jersey, so had it drilled in my head, you go to college, get a liberal arts degree, then get a job with a money center bank in New York, and the rest is history. Yeah. So I attended Boston University, which is very near and dear to my heart still.
Great school.
And is an excellent place. And then, sure enough, did get a job at a money center bank and found out that I hated it. Yeah. And they hated me. Yeah. So we parted company. Yeah. And I was
What was that initial position?
I was an account administrator in private banking at Chase Manhattan Bank.
Got it. Okay.
In Rockefeller Center, New York. Yeah. I remember it. Yeah. It was very traumatic.
The big boys.
It was very traumatic, in fact.
Yeah, why so?
I just couldn't believe that people could be so heartless towards other people and think nothing of it.
Yeah. Heartless is a good word. That being said, it also saves you a lot of time because you don't have to deal with the BS of people being heartless to your back. At least they do it to your face.
They were very much to your face. That is true. I'll give them credit for that. So that did not work out. I then went on a soul-searching journey with a backpack for about a year, going around the planet.
Did you find your soul? Did you find your soul?
I found my soul at the pyramids of Giza.
Cool.
I was looking at the pyramids of Giza and decided I would move back to Boston and become a shrink. Okay. Now, also, my mother, I'm
curious, as a psychologist, what part of seeing pyramids made you think that, or was it just the aha moment?
Well, I want to make it clear, I'm not a psychologist per se. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist. Also, I have a degree in learning and behavioral disabilities. But I think I felt so insignificant looking at those pyramids. Yeah. And I figured when we went, it was overrated, overblown, and a big tourist trap. It was a big tourist trap, but to see them, pictures don't do them justice. And if seeing the pyramids doesn't change how you think, nothing will. Yeah. So my mother was a therapist, so I decided to move back to Boston and pursue that. And that's when I changed gears. Yeah.